Hey everybody, I'm Andrew. Welcome to Eden Rock Farm. We went down to our local feed store today and we picked up a few new baby chicks to add to our laying hen flock. So if you're looking at getting some chickens around your house, your homestead, or your farm, go ahead and stick around. We'll show you how to do that, exactly what you need to do that, and we'll share a few tips and tricks along the way. The first thing you want to do is go ahead and find you a nice, clean, dry area out of the weather where you can keep them safe from predators. We have a building here on the farm that we've converted over into a brooder. You could also use something as simple as a rubber tote or a galvanized steel tank. A lot of people like to use those. There's also a lot of free options out there. We use the large fruit and vegetable bins here around the farm. In my opinion, they're one of the quickest and easiest ways to get you a brooder set up for free. We did a video a little while back on those and showing how we set those up. So I'll go ahead and leave a link at the end of the video. If y'all want to check that out, you can click on that and watch that. In the summer, I like to leave these windows open so that I have plenty of airflow throughout the brooder. I just have a piece of plexiglass hanging down for now that I can open and shut easily as I need to. I just haven't got around to doing any permanent functioning windows yet. We're supposed to have some cold nights ahead of us. It's supposed to be in the teens tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of cardboard and get these windows sealed up to keep the draft down. This side of the brooder is a pretty large area, so I decided to go ahead and cut it in about half. I'm only adding 10 pullets to our laying hen flock, so they don't need that large of an area. And I also like to make sure when they're young and starting out, they're closer together so that they can get to the food and the water and the heat a lot easier. So we're ready to go ahead and get our shavings down and our heat lamps set up. We like to use a larger flake shaving for the bedding for our chicks. The finer shavings seem to be more dusty, and they can also lead to respiratory issues on down the road. But go ahead and do your own research and figure out what you like and what's best for you and your needs. This is just your standard heat lamp that you can buy at any local feed store. These are the ones that I normally use during the winter months because the metal reflection puts off more heat for the chicks. And I also run a 250 watt bulb during this time of year. It helps make a big difference in keeping our chicks warmer during these cold winter months. I like to use these Premier 1 heat lamps as well, but I mainly use them during prettier weather when it's not so cold outside. They cast a more narrow beam on your brooder floor, and they're also primarily made of plastic, so they don't have that reflection. And they also have this locking plastic lid that goes over the bulb to help protect your brooder just in case they would fall on your shavings. So that's probably a safer option as well. I've got the brooder area set up for them. I've got a nice dry area for them out of the weather. And I've also got their heat lamps set up. I'm gonna run these heat lamps probably around 80 to 85 degrees because these chicks are around 2 weeks old already. If they were day-old chicks, I'd probably run them around 95 degrees. That's where I usually start them at. And I usually just drop that about 5 to 7 degrees every week after that. But let's go ahead and get the chicks in here, and I'll get the water set up also. We're not going to get the feed yet. I'm going to hold off on that, and I'll tell you why when we come back. I like to use this style of water in my brooder. This one holds 5 quarts of water, and it has a metal hook on top so that you can hang that up off the floor as your chicks get bigger to help keep your water cleaner. It also has a single notch here for your water to get into your trough. This is one of the first styles that I bought. It's pretty much identical to that one, except for this one has 4 notches. And if you're not careful with this one and you don't get it completely level, water will come out more than one of these and it'll end up flooding your brooder. I've had that happen to me quite a few times, so I don't use this style anymore. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking out for a water. If I have day-old chicks, I also like to keep some of these rocks on hand, and I use these specifically for my brooder only. I don't use them for anything else. Once I get my water full, I'll take these and I'll put them in this trough and I'll line them up all the way around. And that'll help keep your chicks out of the water so they don't accidentally get down in there and drown. We like to give our chicks warm water, and especially this time of year since it's so cold out. And we also give them raw apple cider vinegar to go in that also. We usually do about 1 tablespoon per gallon. We give our chicks a minimum of an 18% crumble when they're starting out. And we also like to wait a couple hours before we introduce them to that. We like to let them get their body temperatures back up to where they need to be and also get hydrated well from the water. But where these pullets are 2 weeks old, it won't be an issue for us. So we're going to wait maybe about 30 minutes just to let them get introduced to their new area, and then we're going to go ahead and get them some feed. It's been about 4 weeks now since we got our chicks set up in our brooder, and that puts them somewhere around 6 weeks old. So they're getting a little size to them now. And I need to make a few changes to their area. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll check on them and see how they're looking. I went ahead and hung a couple chains on the other side of the brooder, one for their feed and one for their water. They're starting to make quite a bit of mess in them where they're older. I did put some boards under those as they were young to keep them up off the ground, and that does help while they're younger. But as they get a little older, I like to go ahead and get them up off the ground so they're not making such a mess in those. And I also hook the carabiner to the bottom of each of these chains so that I can adjust that up and down as they grow. But let's go ahead and get some feeding water over here and some fresh shavings down, and then we'll take this separator down and we'll let them have this whole space. With the shortage on chickens right now and the price of eggs being so high, it could be a really good time to start your own flock. Just keep in mind it will take about 18 to 20 weeks before you start getting your first eggs, so you're going to have a little time to wait there. Or reach out to one of your local farmers that could give you a better product and more than likely a better price than your grocery stores as well. And I'm sure they'd really appreciate your business. So if you have any questions for us, just leave them in the comments and we'll do our best to get back with you and answer those. But I guess that's about it for this one. Thank y'all for joining us here on the farm. I hope y'all have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time.